Support for your public radio station comes from our members and from Bob Johnson Auto Group, proud supporter of Connections with Evan Dawson. Believing an informed public makes for a stronger community. BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com.
From WXXI News, I'm Raquel Stephen filling in for Evan Dawson, and this is Connections. It's prom season. If you've been anywhere near TikTok or a high school parking lot lately, you've probably noticed that prom is a whole production. We're talking custom gowns, embroidered tuxes, bejeweled corsets, fancy cars, professional photographers, smoke machines, even send-off parties that look like wedding receptions. And especially in Black communities, prom has evolved into what some are calling a teen Met Gala. It's a celebration of creativity, culture, self-expression, and straight-up joy. So today we're diving into it all: the fashion, the flash, the phenomenon. We've got two amazing local designers with us who specialize in making prom dreams come true. And we also have with us today a scholar of Black culture to get into the deeper meaning behind this big night. Because as fun and fabulous as prom is, it also tells a bigger story about identity, performance, tradition, and change. And we want to hear from you too. What was your prom like? Did you go big or keep it chill? Do you still have your dress stuffed in a closet somewhere? We want to hear from you and your prom memories throughout the hour. So give us a call at 844-295-TALK. That's 844-295-8255. That's toll free. Or you can call 585-263-9994. Or email us at connections@wxxi.org. Or if you're watching our YouTube stream, you can leave us a comment. All right, now for the fun stuff. Our guest in studio with me, Nathaniel Johnson, is a designer and owner of Nathaniel's Original in Rochester. He has been creating custom fashion in Rochester for 30 plus years, and he is taking time out of his incredibly busy schedule with Fashion Week and prom that's happening today and tomorrow to be with us today. Thank you, Nathaniel. Thank you, Nate.
Yeah.
And we also have Tanya Cassini on the phone. She's a designer originally from Florence, Italy. After working out of her... Hey, Tanya, how are you?
Good, baby. How are you?
I'm doing great. After working out of her basement for like 2 decades, she opened her own shop in 2022, and she joins us by phone. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, love.
Thank you for joining us. I know today is a very busy day for both you and Nathaniel. And finally, Dr. Jeffrey Q. McCune Jr. is the chair of the Department of Black Studies and director of the Frederick Douglass Institute for African American Studies at the University of Rochester. And thank you so much, Jeffrey, for being here. We really appreciate you, and I can't wait to hear your expertise on African American culture and customs. So let's get into the fun stuff. I couldn't wait for this because as a fashion girly myself, and as a close friend of all of you, I love this topic, okay? So, Nate, we're going to start with you. What are some of the biggest trends in prom fashion right now that you're seeing as you're designing your gowns?
It's
You put the
taking
mic closer.
it's taken over the most easiest thing that we thought wouldn't be is the corset dress, because everybody wants to be snatched.
Yes.
So that's the biggest thing that I see that has hit not only Rochester, but my friends in Philly and New York City and Florida and California. Corset dress is giving them the whole life that they've been looking for forever.
Yeah.
So we're really putting that together.
And
Beaded
the
and corset.
the term snatch, right? For those who may not know what that is. What does snatch mean?
The tighter the better.
If you want that hourglass figure, right,
Yes.
having a corset will keep you snatched. That means a nice tiny waist.
Yes.
Right? And Tanya, what are you seeing as far as your designs? What are your clients requesting the most for this prom season?
For our prom season, the most is the same thing. They want to be snatched. They want corsets. And a lot of our clients, they want the hand-beaded dresses, you know. We do a lot of hand-beaded and a lot of beaded fabric. Pearls, diamonds. They all want the all shebang, you know. They want everything, embellishment, you know, like 3D pieces and, yeah, petals.
And how does this prom season compare to those in the past for you?
Every year brings a
Yeah, every
whole
year
nother different. It's a trend. Wherever the year kicks off at, and a lot of the southern states start, what different prom dresses, and whatever is popular at the time, everybody shoots for it. You bring your own creativity in as a designer and as somebody that's making a custom made piece. You try not to go directly into what they're looking at and asking for. You really want to put in your own level of design and your own level of skill to the look.
Yeah, yeah. And thank you, Nate. And Tanya, what is the process like for you and your clients when they walk in? What is that process like?
She wants me to take over. My mom's giving this to me.
Oh, no problem. And the takeover, Casey Cassini, who is Tanya's daughter and assistant. Casey, can you tell us when a teenager walks into your showroom, what is that process like in as regards to what they're looking for, and how do you help them out? What does that look like?
Yes. So when they come in, they already pretty much have the idea in their head what they want, when they want a custom order, and then they show us their pictures. We talk about it. We design it together a little bit. And then, we can get them exactly what they want.
Yeah, we show that the fabrics, the colors, we have a lot of fabrics available in the store. So we show how the option they can have. And so we design it pretty much together too,
Yes.
They come with an idea, and then we come up together with the best, dress and the best option.
And I know, like, Nathaniel, you design and create custom garments all year, every day. Prom, this is a special occasion very, very special occasion for teenagers, right? It's a rite of passage. Is there an added pressure when creating prom gowns, right, as a designer?
It truly is, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that at the end of the day they get exactly what they're looking for. You want to make sure that it's a special day and it's no turning back the time. Once that day is here, you want to make sure that they're happy and they get exactly what they want. And like I said, sometimes you got to give them a little tweak, because what they want might not be what they need. So, you're making custom garments for people, their shape, their size. And some people want a look, and you got to reel them in sometime and say, okay, let's work this out and get it close to what you can do.
And is that a difficult conversation to have with your clients? Like, hey, I know you love this look, right? But, maybe this will look better. Is that a difficult conversation to have?
I don't think so. They come to you for a reason. Mm-hmm. They come to us as designers, and we're making a custom piece for us. We're going to give you some good advice. Some people will make you whatever you ask for, and at the end of the day, you're wearing it, but we still want to represent ourselves well too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So sometimes you gotta reel them in and say, okay, let's back up and let's give you what you look. Because at the end of the day, it's making sure that they're happy.
Yes, yeah. And Tanya, I know your I would say your specialty is gowns, right?
Yeah,
so as far as prom, how do you separate that, right? This is a special occasion, but you do make gowns. But is prom more special than other times for you?
Yeah, we love prom. We're so happy with prom. We can't wait to prom season come, because all these girls, they're so cute, When they come here, then they're happy. You see them with their face happy because you're ready. We make exactly what they wanted. And you see the happiness in their face make us happy. So that's why I like prom season, because we see all these girls that are happy.
And how many prom dresses do you make, Tanya? Each year.
God. You really want to know?
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. She's
It's a lot, honey. Hundreds.
Hundreds
of
hundreds. Ooh, hundreds of hundreds.
Counts by 4, yeah.
Oh my God. And I know, Nate, you kind of, you've been doing this for decades, so you kind of became like, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, pretty much. I can remember times like not hundreds, but me by myself making 50 gowns during this process.
Yeah.
Now I just do exclusive. I set myself a number and I cut off right there.
Yeah.
I had people calling me that didn't get on the list. Like, can I pay now for next year? No.
Whoa.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's work
It
on
is
it.
a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and
It's
I
a
know
lot. It really is.
I know, Tanya, you capture a lot of your prom journey on your social media. I know, Nate, when your client comes in for that final fitting and their expression of joy, how does that feel as a designer?
You know what? My thing is if you can get them to come in, and you will get these young ladies, and the guys are going crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you get the
they
young
do.
ladies, they got this look on their face, and they like tearing
Yes.
up, and then you got the mom there and the
Yes.
grandma. It's weird because a couple years ago I had a grandma, I did her wedding dress. A mom, I did her prom dress. I did her wedding dress. And the granddaughter was there, and I was making her prom dress. And the mom comes back with all these pictures. This is my wedding gown. This is my mom dress. This is that. And I was like, where did y'all come from? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I'm only 21.
You're
so-
you don't look over 20. But you've been designing prom dressing. You guys have been designing for years.
Yeah.
What it's evolved, right?
Yes.
Is it getting more difficult?
Yes, they do getting more difficult.
Yeah.
These fabrics, they want them more the best high quality,
Couture gown.
couture gowns. So we had to invent all these pieces by ourselves. Because just us.
Yes.
This picture that just show us, they have a team of 20, 30 people behind them.
Oh,
We
yes.
only us. So, it's hard to recreate it by ourselves. But we always manage to do it.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of more work because we don't have a lot of big team behind us,
Yeah.
So
And sometimes these prom dresses are more extravagant than wedding gowns. Sometimes you look at
that
like,
is true.
that's a wedding
That is
dress.
true.
You
That
about
is
to pay
true.
$5,000 to get a prom dress made.
Ooh, so let's talk. I'm glad you touched on this, right? Let's talk about the budget. Let's talk about the budget
Yeah.
for having a great prom dress. What is? I know
Do you
I'm laughing because
really wanna
Nathaniel
know?
is looking at me like, please don't do this. What is the budget for? What does a mom or a family needs to come in to get? What's the budget for what they're looking for?
When you're looking at what they want and what they need, I found some people they come in with a budget of $1,500 just straight off the bat, and that's basically something basic.
Yeah.
And it can go, like I said, up to $5,000 depending on fabric. Some fabrics that they pick out, I can find it, but it's $150, $200 a yard. Do you really want to spend that much money to take a picture?
Yeah.
And some people they've planned, they've set aside, and
Yeah.
all I can do is provide a service.
And Tanya, I know a lot of your dresses are custom. The fabric you send it off to overseas, and they return it. What does a good prom budget look like to get a Tanya Cassini custom gown?
I mean, we are pretty good in the store. We have a very, flexible dresses. We have a wide range of. We start at $350 dress to thousands of dollars. So when they come here, we always try to find. We always ask, "What's your budget?" So we always,
And guide them
in the right part of the store. Because I don't want to show you a $2,500 dress if your budget is $1,500. So we try to show them in their budget so they don't get confused.
or even design something.
Yeah, or design it in the budget. But we have a pretty good range. So you can come here with any budget. We can find the dress. Just you cannot show me a $5,000 dress for $1,000. I cannot make it as normal.
Yeah.
But our budget, we pretty good prices for the dress that we give because we do a lot of hand beaded. And if you go to any other designer, we are the cheapest one. For real. So for the quality and what you get. But usually like Nate is around, $1,500. We give them a beautiful corset dress with the diamonds, 3D pieces, all sparkly diamond fabric. So they get a beautiful dress for $1,500 in the store, and a costume. It's still custom made, even if it's a showroom piece, but then we customize it even, we fix it for you for the same price. We don't even charge for alteration. It's all included in our price, So pretty much 1,500, you can get a really gorgeous dress here, you know.
And
But some girls have a budget a little higher, 2,500, so they get the hand beaded dress, which is still a good price. Then we have suits too. They start at around 700 for a custom suit, you know.
yeah.
Plus all the diamonds, they go up. More stuff you want, obviously, we have to charge more, you know, because if you want all the adding stuff. But usually it's around 1,500, the normal price.
Oh, wow. Okay. And if you're watching on YouTube, we do have some photos of some dresses that Nathaniel and Tanya have designed, some professional photos, some professional photos. Nate, I want to talk to you about this gown specifically. I don't know if our people on YouTube can see the pictures, but this is a gown that you made just this year, right?
Right.
It's a nice chocolate colored gown that beading, beautiful, a corset top. And this client is not in Rochester.
That's one thing about it too. We have a lot of out of town clients that fly in, stay for the weekend, and leave and go home with a dress in their hand.
Wow.
This young lady, she was from Texas.
Yes.
She
wow.
flew in like a couple times for fittings and different things like that. And that's exactly what she wanted. That was the first dress of my prom season.
Yeah. And how long did it take you to create this?
This dress with fittings and everything was probably like a month because it's just me.
Yeah.
And people are like, why don't you get some help? I'm picky.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that it's done right. And I don't want to go back behind somebody and retouch. And I'm quite sure my friend Tanya says the same thing. We don't want people touching our stuff. You can't even put a zipper in for me. But she was so happy when she came. She came for her final fitting, but I had to ship the dress to her. And this kid calls me, and whenever you get that call, it's like, oh my God, she lives away. She got the dress. There's something wrong. Oh my God, it's amazing. I'm so ready. I could go to prom tonight. No, prom's in 2 weeks. Why are you going tonight? Calm down.
That must be such a rewarding feeling to get that call and your client be so so happy and so ecstatic about their piece. Tanya, I know you ship all over the U.S. I know that can be stressful. Can you take us through a time where having a client out of state was a lot of pressure and challenging?
This happened actually today. We have she had the dress made from another designer in Virginia, but she didn't like it, so she called us pretty much on Tuesday night. I was here actually working overnight, late, almost 11, for another client. That it was for a wedding, a jumpsuit for a an NFL player, future wife. So I was here hand stitching all this jumpsuit. She called me, so I showed the dress. I said, okay, please, can you fix it and get it ready and ship it to my daughter, ship it to us for my daughter for tomorrow, Saturday. And I said, of course, we're going to do it. I'm going to stay late tomorrow, get it ready and overnight it to you. Obviously, we overnighted on the 14th, supposed to arrive to her yesterday, and FedEx messed it up, the package. It was hiding somewhere, and they didn't arrive to her. So this poor, beautiful woman, now she's driving here right now and get this dress.
From Virginia.
Because the dress didn't even left Rochester, so she's driving from Virginia here, picking up the dress, and that'll promise tomorrow.
Wow. Okay.
So we are agitated right now, waiting for this woman to get here. We are like anxious, you know. But it happened a lot. We ship a lot of overnight because a lot of other designers, they didn't deliver it, so they call us. And thank God we have a lot of in the store. They love it. We get it ready. We fix it to the measurement, and we ship it. We have another one just arrived yesterday who promised tomorrow, another overnight this week. And then, it's a lot of stress these days. You know?
These days. I love that you made that specific, these days. So this client, the FedEx package didn't arrive, actually didn't leave Rochester, and now she's driving in from Virginia to grab her prom dress for her prom tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, honey, yes.
Wow.
She's on the way here. Yeah, we're going to stay late. She said, I'm going to arrive late, so don't worry. We wait, whatever you arrive, we're going to be here waiting for you. So we know these days we cannot make times, we cannot make no plans. We have the store 24/7 for every client that need us.
Yeah.
So
I want to talking about stressful and added pressure. I want to talk about the need for teenagers to go viral now. All right, they want to
Oh,
go
yeah.
viral with TikTok, with social media. Everyone wants to
Yes.
go viral for prom. Um, what is that?
Yes.
Is that an added pressure for our designers to make sure your client goes viral? And what that means is they get thousands of shares. It reaches tons of people throughout the nation on social media. Is that a thing? Do your clients come in and say, "Hey, I want to go viral"?
Yes, I have one actually that she's driving in next week. And she said, I want to go viral with your dress. Okay, my love. Okay, we try our best to make it exactly beautiful. But yeah, that's what she asked me. I want to go viral with your dress. Okay, baby. We got you.
The thing that I tell my
you know?
clients too is viral is a package. I could make
Yes.
you an amazing dress and everything else can go downhill.
That is true. That is true.
You know, the dress
They
is
have
not,
to do-
it's got to be a package.
You're right. That is true. They have to have a good photography. They have to have a good,
Hair, makeup.
hair, makeup. Everything has to be perfect, not just a dress. A dress can be gorgeous, but if you don't take good picture, you're not going to go viral. It's a lot of more the pictures too, how you take them,
Yeah, can we talk a little bit about
Aesthetic.
accessorizing? Yes, accessorizing your dress, right, and creating this package that that we speak of. Do you provide your insight on what hair would look good with this dress? What accessories you should have? How is that conversation with your clients?
We always ask. We always ask what you're going to do for your hair and makeup to see if it look okay. We always give our client matching 3D pieces for the hair, so it's going to look more, proper and look all nice together. We always ask. But,
Even them with social media, they know what looks good now.
Yes.
They already know.
they already know. A lot of our clients are very good, They know how to put everything together.
Not only are you a designer when it comes to this prom thing, you become a stylist too. And I tell everybody,
Yeah.
I'm not a stylist, but I'm going to give you some input because you get a nice dress and then you get a different shoe that doesn't work. You're running, as soon as you come in, I'm like, I want to see your shoes. I want to see what you're going to wear. Like, you have a gorgeous dress. You don't need a whole bunch of a fantasy necklace on with this dress. What are you doing? Take that off.
Yeah.
So you become a designer, a stylist, a makeup artist, a hair stylist. You come if they want. I've had people like, come tie my dress. I'll pay you extra.
Yeah, that is true. We have one coming next week, actually. She wants us to tie her for, she's going to come the day of the prom, get dressed here, and then leave. We had a couple last year, too.
Yeah.
Mia let us, dress them up. Yep.
Wow. And prom is, I know majority of proms are, when does prom season end? And I know today and tomorrow there's a lot of proms happening locally, right? So I can imagine the workload right now.
My
Yeah,
last
for us,
prom is June 13th.
Okay.
We had June 20, the last week of June, because we have a lot of Buffalo girls.
Okay.
And then a couple other states we have for the end of June.
New York
Wow.
City.
New York City we have, So we have all the way to the last week of June is our last prom.
Wow. And Nate, I want to address that you have received a key to the city for your contribution to fashion in Rochester, right? Congratulations,
Thank you.
because you know your stuff. So as far as prom season, designing proms, prom dresses, and the other work you do, where does that fall in line with your love for design?
Where does it? My thing is my clients from March 1st till June 31st are really like on pins and needles because I'm not doing anything else but prom. So I really have to like lock down my whole shop, and they're like, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" But I love all aspects of the fashion world. Like, I not only do prom, we do wedding, we do birthday dresses, and we get a whole bunch of people coming through the door. You get sweet 16s, you get bridesmaids dresses, you get a lot. Within like the past few years, I've cut back a lot,
Yeah.
and you have to. People suck a lot out of you, and so you have to be mindful, and you don't want to lose your passion because you're so involved with it.
Yeah.
You want to be able to be creative. I like when people walk through the door and say, I need a blue dress, whatever you want to do. That like regenerates your brain and gets your creativity flowing. And like I say, I've been doing this for over 30-something years. And, you know, it comes a time when you was like, okay, I'm going to be picky and I'm going to choose. Just because you come to me don't mean I'm going to open my door and say, okay, yeah, here we go. It's not like that.
And doing this for so long, is there a prom era in particular that you remember where it just seems like everything just flowed and it wasn't as difficult and you just enjoyed prom?
Right now.
Right now,
Because
yes.
I'm like,
Wow.
I don't, like I said, it's just me. And it was times where I were making, my prom book was booked with 50, 60, 70 kids. And people are still calling like, oh, can you take me? Can you take me? And now because I pick and I can relax and I can take it easy and I'm not like under pressure to get all it. It's stressful. Now I go home at 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, I'm not saying 24 hours. Love y'all, but not no more. I've done that where I've been up for days on end, getting people ready, getting things done, and you know now it's time to relax.
I love that. Time to relax. Tanya, you're not relaxing anytime soon.
Oh, no, honey. No.
How many more dresses do you think you have to make?
To make probably another couple hundred something. I have to still make for June.
Tanya, how do
Yeah.
you do it? I know we're all hearing this
love
right now
it.
and saying, "Oh my gosh, you still have over 100 dresses to make." How are
Yeah,
you
I
doing
love
this?
it. I don't know. I like it. I don't even give me a stress, honey. I don't even have stress. I really love it.
She has magic hands.
I know. It's 37 years I'm sewing, honey. So,
Yeah.
but I really love it. I really don't have no stress about this. I mean,
It's just your second nature.
yeah. I just, sometimes I really want to leave the store. I want to stay here late just to see all the dresses and keep going and just it's just happy for me. It doesn't give me no, I love it. So.
Yeah. What do you love most about designing dresses?
I don't know. I just like all the color of the fabrics. I like the diamonds. I like to just, I just like the dresses. They're gorgeous, really. I like to hand stitch, everything.
Is it?
Cutting the pattern doesn't even bother me. Cutting the pattern, making the pattern, cutting the fabrics, get it ready. Everything for the process, I really love every single step. From the start to the finish, it's just happiness.
So is it therapeutic in some sense, Nathaniel or Tanya?
Yes, it is.
It can be.
It is.
It can.
It is.
You know,
I really love it.
some
When
days
I
I
don't
can
do
just
nothing,
get up.
I get stressed when I don't do nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. I say I'm retired. Everybody say I'm lying. And you're like, yeah, you're not retiring. You're gonna be home for a week and be like back in that shop. Like I'm open.
Yeah, I know. I get bored if I don't do nothing. I need to make stuff. I need to make it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know, like, Nate, you say that all the time, that you're retiring, and you're still here designing.
You're right. That's true.
Tanya, is there a time where you're like, I am not doing this anymore. I am totally exhausted?
No,
No.
I'm never gonna retire. But I'm probably gonna die with my needle in my hand.
Wow. That's amazing. What do you, before I let my designers go, what do you enjoy most about prom season?
For me, the happiness of the girls. I'm so happy. I'm happy when I see them happy.
Yes.
Right. Pretty much, I feel the same way. If I can
And
give
the
you,
boys.
if I can give you the end result that you're looking for, and you're happy, and you
Yes.
walk out that door with your garment in your hand, and you ready to go, that's my
Yeah.
end all to be all.
Yeah.
And
And like Nate said, even the family, you see the mother,
Yes.
they all come with all the family. It's so beautiful. And everybody's so happy. And all the boys, we did a lot of suit this year too.
yeah.
And the boys, you can see them, they get confident with the jacket. They love it. It makes you happy.
Yeah, and I like that. Now the young men are going all out for
All
prom
out.
now, right?
All
They're-
out.
Oh,
It's not
they
the traditional
do.
tux. Is now they want a little bedazzlement as well.
Not a little.
Not a li-
lot.
Yes, not a little. We did a lot of hem beaded suits. A lot of hem beaded suits. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and if some our listeners right now, if they want to reach out to you and maybe just get something custom made, maybe not for prom because we are swamped, but if it just they want a custom Tanya gown or a Nathaniel gown, how could they reach you or check out your work?
We have a lot of social media. We have everything on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. A lot of people reach, like that is the best way. Then we have a website right now, TanyaCassini.com. They can go there and see a couple pieces of the pictures, book an appointment, and all like that. That's usually how we get out of town. They can call us with a phone number. We have all the phone on the social media. So we're pretty good to be reached. Mm-hmm.
Me as well is I have all the social media. People say I don't post enough, but I be like, okay. But yeah, social media is very easy. You can go to hair salon, they'll give you my phone number. You can go anywhere. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a lot.
But
I know for any of our listeners, if you want to call in and tell us about your prom experience and what you wore for prom, you can call us at 844-295-8255, or you can call 585-263-9994. If you have a daughter or a son that's going to prom or went to prom within the past 5 years and you spent thousands on your gown, we want to hear about it. We're going to take a little break. When we get back, we have our guest with us. This is Connections.
Support for your public radio station comes from our members and from Blackfriars Theater, presenting the noteworthy life of Howard Barnes. This romantic comedy revolves around the emotionally repressed Howard, who wakes one day to discover that his life has become a musical. On stage now, tickets at blackfriars.org. And Wayside Garden Center, providing trees, plants, and flowers to create garden landscapes for more than 50 years. Gardening advice and planting services available, located in Macedon and online at waysidegardencenter.com.
This is Connections. I'm Raquel Stephen, filling in for Evan Dawson. We're talking about prom, the trends and the fashion, but also the history and humanity. My guests are Nathaniel Johnson and Tanya Cassini, two Rochester-based designers who specialize in prom fashion, and Jeffrey McCune, the founding chair of the Department of Black Studies at the University of Rochester. If the first half of this hour was about the show-stopping style and celebration, this next part is about what's beneath all that glamour. Because for many teens, especially Black teens, prom is not just a milestone. It's a moment of reclaiming space, being fully seen, and creating something beautiful against the odds. Jeff, did I capture it?
Yes. You captured it very well. I mean, one of the things I'm always talking about is how prom is a moment for self-fashioning for Black folks, particularly. How do we fashion ourselves in a way that exhibits our joy, but also our resilience, right? These students have made it through some hardships and some hard times, and this is the one moment where they get to just show up and show out.
and Black prom in particular, right? For
Absolutely.
the Black community, it's become so extravagant. But can you take us back a little bit, right? How
Absolutely.
was prom birthed, this extravagance, and
Absolutely.
bring us to now.
Yeah, I'll do a little brief, history of prom if I can. In the 1920s, it started as a real exhibition of white women actually in debutante balls, right? The proms were actually called promenades, right? Not really proms, right? And so that's where the word prom comes from. So in the 1920s, you had this really a kind of system of getting young girls, right, to show respectability and show their respectable refinement, right? And so making sure that women and young girls acted like, quote, girls and young women. In the 1950s, we saw a shift in what prom was because, in the 1920s, it was for the elite, right? Everybody couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But in the 1950s, right, we saw some growth in the economy, and we saw folks now taking a part of it. High schools now having what they call proms, right? And it was mostly white young girls and boys who dressed up and had dates and things and went to prom, and their families celebrated similarly to what we were talking about today in terms of black prom, but it was particularly for white folks. And then in the 1960s and 70s, after desegregation, right, integration comes, right? And here we're like, okay, prom for everybody?
Yes.
No, right? And so you had these segregated proms where folks would say, you know, we're going to have prom for the white folks and for white children, and the black folks, I'm sorry, you know, and oftentimes, right, in these integrated schools, there were like very few black children, right? And so, of course, they didn't want the black children to be integrating. And the real concern was, you know, black boys and young white girls, right? That this was such a mythological risk for white communities. And so what we had was black folks saying, well, no. Y'all go ahead and do your prom, and we're going to do ours. And we're going to do it differently, but we're going to do it, right? And so we see across the country now, right, many folks who now have activated. Now, of course, right, we no longer deal with as much segregated proms, but we do know that, unfortunately, this country is still highly segregated. And so what we now call black prom is really, you know, we live in the city of Rochester, we live in Chicago, we live in Detroit, where unfortunately there is still segregation based upon class.
Yes.
And so black prom is where black folks go in their schools, right? Majority black schools, and they have a good old time. And part of what I really like to talk about in terms of the history of prom is also about the ways in which it's not all about black folks buying into some materialism, but it's the opportunity for them to show the wealth in the material and the creativity with the material, right? So it's a really, really fascinating opportunity, though it's, as your guest before me said, very expensive.
But you made it sound beautiful. Like, yes, of course, that's what I want. So I'm going to spend those thousands of dollars on my outfit.
Absolutely. Especially when you think about it, right? How often do black children have an opportunity to dress up in ways that exude a certain kind of investment? Because part of what I want people to understand is prom for everybody is an investment, right?
Yes.
Who has $5,000 to pop on, you know, a dress or a suit, right? No one does. Everyone has to invest. Even the richest of people are investing in their children. And why is it so problematic that we see, you know, young girls investing in their nails and their hair? We see young guys investing in their nails and their hair, you know, and also, of course, the dress and the suits. It is an investment. And so what I like to think of it is, while on one hand, right, there are all types of problems in terms of that we can talk about,
Yes.
in terms of like the scripts of prom, but I do think that the idea of prom itself actually is a celebration of black creativity and possibility.
And what does it mean, this style, right, for black teens to claim space through fashion, through style? Is this a showcase of wealth, you would say, or what?
No, I mean, it's definitely not a showcase of wealth when you think about, you know, the disproportionate poverty that exists amongst black and brown folks in this United States. It's about the exhibition of creativity and style. I mean, one of the reasons why I love what you said about this being like proms being like the Met Gala of for teens is particularly about like the exhibition of style. How do I show my individual self through my clothing, through my detail? Because I want people to realize, right? I love what the fashion designers were talking about in terms of the major details, right?
Yes.
And these young people are like, we want details because details are going to show something about me that's very different than, let's say, the next guy or the next girl, right? And they are very clear. I want to articulate my identity through style and clothes and dress. Now, don't get it twisted now, because I know there's some grandmothers and grandfathers listening and some other folks that these children are not saying, I'm only my style. They're saying, I have something within me that I want to shine outward.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
yes. And I love that you talked on generations, right? We're going to talk about generations because, in the past, having a spaghetti strap, right, was, wow, she wore a spaghetti strap. A high split with your prom dress was, look at her. And now we're seeing sheer, we're seeing embroidered cover-ups,
Absolutely.
right? And now it's like, do you think it's too much?
Yeah. So that's a question.
Because grandmothers are looking at designs now and like, I know my grandbaby is not out there showing her cleavage, right?
Absolutely.
It can be controversial for some, generational.
Absolutely. But I think your point around generation is true. We're living in a time where particularly Black women and Black girls are learning sexual autonomy. Mm-hmm. They're learning expressive autonomy. How can I be independent in who I am? You hear young people say all the time, I'm not my grandmother. Yeah. And people get offended by that because people want to say, you are your grandmother. You come from your grandmother. That is true, but they're not the same, yes. Right? There's a contrast, right? And part of the contrast is culture, right? And so now these many young girls are saying, I want to actually show a little skin. Michelle Obama, the first lady of the United States, showed her arms. Why can't I? Right? And there's a certain kind of power that Black women are claiming and Black girls are claiming and being able to say, I want to show my body how I want to show my body. That don't mean you get to touch my body.
Yes.
But it means that I get to show my body and exhibit what I work on every day.
Yes. And I know, and we talked about the young men too.
Absolutely.
Are reclaiming this space with their style.
Absolutely.
Right? And we talk about the dandy suits, and this goes, I know you're pointing your finger at me, right? Because I nailed it, didn't I? The dandy suits, and now the Black men the young Black men are now reclaiming that, right?
Absolutely.
With prom. Can you speak on this?
Yeah. So what I'm loving about excuse me. What I'm loving about this moment that's very different than when I went to prom. It was very scripted. The girls wore color and embroidery and exaggeration. They got their hair done. I had a nice little fade, right? And then I got a suit from, I forgot what the tuxedo place was, but there was nothing exaggerative about it. Now, young men are saying, I too am creative. I too want to do different things with my gender, right? I don't just want to show myself as hard because I also know that I like to smile and laugh. And when you have a little diamond on your shoulder, you have your little embroidery or something goofy, like you color your hair a little bit, right? It's having fun, because part of what being young and being a boy is also having fun, experimenting, exploring. And for so long when I was younger, I can remember, going to prom. I cannot believe I'm saying this 35 years ago.
Ooh. You didn't say that. Who said that?
Like I can't believe how strict folks were.
Yeah.
In terms of what I could do. I mean, I couldn't even get them to let me wear a patent leather shoe. And now everybody wearing patent leather shoes.
And they're Pradas. These are luxury
Absolutely.
Designers, right? And it says a lot because parents save up money for this moment, right? How much of this is the parents showcasing that, I'm a great parent. I spent thousands of dollars on my kids' prom, right? How much of this is about the parents and them being able to, this clout?
Yeah. I had a friend who said, I spend as much on my kids' prom and graduation as their grades are good.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, indeed.
So I know some parents are like, I'm okay spending because you did so great. Right. It's interesting because I didn't have a child who did so great in school, but I did have a child who was very creative. Was an artist, was into math, so I believe that a lot of parents are also trying to give their kid what represents them and not allow them to just have like any old thing, right?
Yes.
Because you're not any old thing. And because you're not any old thing, I'm not going to let you walk around here with any old thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is about a certain kind of recognition that we live in a culture that does not value our young people. And so every black parent who decides to actually spend $1,000, spend $500, spend $200 on their kid to look fancy
Yeah.
or look good, is actually investing in that child, but also saying, we will invest in our children. We will give our children luxury if they want, because we know that the society in which we live in will not often afford them that opportunity.
Yeah.
And even if it's knockoff, right? So let's be real. Like even if it's knockoff, I'm giving you something.
Yeah. Now, a part of prom is having these wild send-offs, right? Where your family, they're creative, it's choreographed, right? And family comes from all over. They meet at the house, they gather, and you send your child to prom. You're taking pictures. Is there anything historical about these send-offs that we can address, and why are send-offs so important for the Black community?
It is so important for a lot of reasons. There is a idea that this is the first time that your child is actually screaming their adulthood before the graduation, right? This is the time when a child actually becomes a young man or a young girl, right? This is the affirmation that the community that made you is sending you out into the world, right? And saying, go forth, my dear, look beautiful, look handsome, right? As I tell my son, you are young, gifted, and Black every day, right? And we want to put you out there and show you as being young, gifted, and Black, and give you the things that the accoutrements that would say you are something. And so I think that I love you bringing up the idea that this is, for Black people, a lot of times, a real community effort.
Yes.
So when we talk about the cost, I want people to actually say this out loud. Like when we talk about the cost, my grandmother invested by putting up $200 or $300 for one side of the tux, and then my parents put $200 or $300 for the other side of the tux, and then my daddy, my bio daddy, bought my shoes. Right. This is what we have to do as community. So it's not like Black folks are outspending themselves. They are actually taking resources often from different places and putting it together. And so I love that you're bringing up the importance of community, and that prom, Black prom particularly, is such a community effort.
Yeah, and we know the saying, it takes a village, right? And at this moment, your village is coming together to send you off, to give you this rite of passage. And that is so significant. But then we also have social media, right? And while it can be great for going viral, right? Has it changed what prom is? Because are we losing the significance of the rite of passage because everyone wants to go viral? We're all doing this for content, right? We're not actually taking in what prom and the legacy of your ancestors and what this really means, and we the segregation and having to go through this because we want to go viral. Are we losing the significance of prom?
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Right? I think on one level, right, I think social media is just polluting our cultures all over the place, right? It's polluting our country, obviously, right? And so we have misinformation, right? Prom for social media becomes about the likes and the loves.
Yes.
Right? It becomes about how snatched you are. Right? I definitely cannot not do this interview without also talking about how social media creates an ideal body type.
Yes.
Right? Particularly for young girls. Right? And it circulates these images of what you need to look like is an hourglass, a Coke bottle shape. Right? And we had that in the 1970s and 80s too, let's be clear. But I think what social media does, it indoctrinates us into it. and makes us believe that this is the way to get the likes, the hits, and all these things. And therefore, it becomes a part of the necessary culture. On the flip side of this, though, I want to say some of this has to happen off camera, too.
Yeah.
And the off camera happenings are, to me, as important. I know social media is taking over our minds and our culture and our thinking, but we still got to come back to talk about what's happening in the kitchen when that dress comes apart that the good designer made and grandma goes to get her sewing kit and puts it back together a little bit, right? We got to talk about when I forgot to get my little line from a fade and my uncle said, I got the clippers and brought the clippers back and put the fade in my, right? We still got to talk about that's the stuff that's not captured on the social media. And I think it's important to realize those moments off stage, off screen, off camera are the reminders of the old days. Yeah. They're the reminders of how the ancestors and older folks, right, really invested in the communal aspects of prom.
And for those who can't afford, the families that can't afford these extravagant ball gowns and these embroidered tucks, and they go on social media and they see this and see that this is what's being accepted, and they can't afford it, right? It does play with your upbringing and your mental health, right?
Absolutely, and people are really trying to make sense of, what do I do?
Yeah.
Right? If I can't afford it, how do I make it still pop?
Yes.
And
we know how to do it.
We do know how to do it.
We do know how to do it. Thank you, Jeffrey McCune Jr., for stopping by and giving us your expertise. This was a great conversation. Nathaniel Johnson, the owner of Nathaniel's Originals, and Tanya Cassini, thank you both for your expertise in fashion design. If you're going to prom today or tomorrow, enjoy. And if you're going to the send-off, enjoy your hard work, community.
Yes.
And that's it for the second hour of Connections.
This program is a production of WXXI Public Radio. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of this station, its staff, management, or underwriters. The broadcast is meant for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or use in another medium without expressed written consent of WXXI is strictly prohibited. Connections with Evan Dawson is available as a podcast. Just click on the Connections link at WXXInews.org.